Hey there guys, this is going to be part 2 of your notes for multiplying polynomials, day 2 of your Unit 6 module. So let's go to the part 2 of our notes. Hence, part 2, henceforth, you should have watched part 1 first, so hopefully you did that. So going into part 2, we talked about watching Edpuzzle, so on and so forth. Into the actual lesson, we're going to go into multiplying polynomials and use the box method when we're multiplying two binomials together. Binomials are just two-termed polynomials. So before, in day 1, we went over basic polynomials. So if you didn't watch the Edpuzzle from there, make sure you watch it because we reviewed it. So basically that was just when you're multiplying a monomial, a one-term expression, by a binomial, a two-term expression. So something that looks like this generally. Now binomials, if we multiply two binomials together, so two-termed expressions, well, they get more complicated because when you distribute, you have to distribute the x to both terms in there and then the 1 to both terms in there. It gets complicated and it's easy to lose track of your numbers. So an organization method or a graphic organizer we use in math for this is the box method. So we're going to go into how to use the box method. So the box method, how to use it. First, you draw a 2 by 2 box. Outside of the box will be each term from your binomial expressions. So for example, we have x plus 5 and x minus 5. So here I'll write my x plus 5, x minus 6. That's outside my box. Inside my box will be the product of the two algebraic terms. So for example, x times x is x squared, 5 times x is 5x, x times negative 6 is negative 6x, 5 times negative 6 is negative 30. And then once you do that, you're going to want to combine like terms from inside your box and simplify your answer. Now, how do you know what terms are like terms? Well, as a reminder, like terms are kind of items that are similar. So in this case, we only have one x that has a squared. We only have one constant without a variable. However, we have two numbers that have x's near each other. Therefore, these are my like terms. I can combine these. So 5 minus 6x is negative 1x. Or we can just write negative x with the 1 implied. So if I simplify this, since there's only one x squared term, I can only write it by itself, x squared. These I combine my like terms to give me negative x. And then finally, I only had one constant, so it just stays as negative 30. So we're going to do the same thing over and over again. So notice here I have my x plus, or my two binomials, 8x plus x, 2x minus 5. So you'll multiply these two across. 8 times 2, or 8x times 2x is 16x squared. 8 times 2 is 16. X times x is x squared. 8 times 2x is 16x. 8 times negative 5 is negative 40x. 8 times negative 5 is just negative 40, the constant. So similar to what you do before, you're going to want to identify your like terms. So in these case, it's these numbers. And after you do quite a few of these, you'll notice it's always these diagonal that end up being your like terms. So we'll have negative 40x plus 16x, which would give us negative 24x. Once again, we only have one x squared term, so it's going to stay by itself. This is an error in my part. This should say 16x squared minus 24x. Once again, we only have one constant, so we'll just keep it negative 40. So in this case, you may be given a problem like this, where it doesn't necessarily give you your two binomials explicitly, like it does here. It'll just say x plus 7. But notice, this is very important. That's squared. What does squared mean? Well, squared means you're multiplying the same thing by itself. So in this case, we'll have x plus 7 times x plus 7. So if we look here, x plus 7 times x plus 7. So that's going to go outside my box. Once again, inside my box, same thing I've been doing before. X times x is x squared. 7 times x is 7x. 7 times x is 7x. 7 times 7 is 49. My like terms are always my diagonals. 7x plus 7x is 14x, which is a little bit cut off here. Then we have only one x squared term, so we're going to keep it. Once again, it's cut off. And we have one constant term, so we will keep it. So we will be we'll end up with x squared plus 14x plus 49. Now there's a shortcut for these specific type of problems where you don't necessarily need to do the box method if you remember this kind of saying. If you're given a case where you're squaring a binomial or multiplying the same binomial by itself, then you can square the first, square the last, multiply and double. What that means is square the first term in your binomial, so that'll give us x squared. Square the last term in your binomial, which is your 7. 7 squared is 49. Multiply both terms. 7 times x is 7x. And double. 7x times 2 is 14x. So here's my square the first, square the last, multiply and double. So you end up with x squared plus 49 plus 14x, which notice is the exact same answer we got on this side, even though it's slightly cut off. Now you don't necessarily have to know this. You can use the box method and get the exact same answer. However, this is a shortcut if you can remember the saying. Now you'll have a few of these type of problems in your homework assignment on Delta Math. So the shortcut will help, but once again, you can always just use the box method. Now you may be given real world examples via word problems. So below we have a diagram that shows a floor plan of a storage facility. All dimensions are given in feet. What expression can be used to represent the area of the facility in square feet? A lot of words, but this diagram tells us exactly what we're going to do. I know when I take the area of a rectangle, it's length times width. So notice I have a binomial here, a two-termed expression, a binomial here, a two-term expression. Therefore, I can multiply these two as such. 5x plus 4, 4x minus 4. So that goes outside my box. Inside my box, once again, is just the product of each of these algebraic terms. 5x times 4x, 5 times 4 is, this should say 20. 20, x times x is x squared. 4 times 4 is 16. Just 1x, so 16x. 5x times negative 4 is negative 20x. 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. Therefore, once again, this should be a 20. We should end up with 20x squared. These are my like terms, so I can combine these. Negative 20x plus 16x is going to give me negative 4x, and then I only have one constant term, minus 16. So that was it. So your homework for today is going to be your multiplying polynomials day 1 homework assignment. You'll see in Delta Math. If you have not made your account already, make it as soon as possible. Instructions are available on Canvas on how to make a Delta Math account. If you got your login information, please send me an email ASAP as soon as possible. Now generally, here's your study tip for the day. Learn how to fail and persevere. It's an important skill in life that will help you more than a perfect grade. Think of failure impersonally. Don't think of it as a personal flaw, but rather a strategy that didn't work for you and can be changed. Remember, fear of failure is often a self-fulfilling prophecy because it leads to self-sabotage. This is very important, very, very important. A lot of you may not have done as well as you wanted to last semester, and that's fine. Just look back on it and say, okay, obviously what I did last semester didn't work. How can I change it for this semester? So consider this. And once again, you have the opportunity for extra credit by using the extra credit or study tip discussion post assignment that's available on Canvas. Now some general announcements. If you participated in both pair decks for Wednesday and Friday, then you are excused from the week 1 journal check. If you did not participate during the pair deck and you're just watching these videos, don't forget you still have to do your journal check. It is a quiz grade. It is an assignment on Canvas. You should see it there, but if you can't find it, email me. Also, there will be a quiz next Tuesday over this lesson. So make sure you understand how to use the box method because you will be quizzed on it. And don't forget about tutoring. So if you don't understand, there's tutoring. I lead tutoring Thursdays from 4:30 to 5. Otherwise, you're free to join any of these other tutoring sessions from other teachers. And that's it. So hopefully it's helped. If you still have questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a nice day, and I'll see you next class.